welcome to another Petersburg By Night revamped production. The following is rated for mature audiences and may contain graphic themes that will be distressing to some viewers. As always, we recommend you ensure the safety and well-being of yourself and those around you at all times. Viewer discretion is advised. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to tonight's season finale of What the Hell Is That? A Hunter the Reckoning chronicle set in the Tampa Bay region. We play on a massive multiplayer TTRPG server called Petersburg By Night. You can find us across all social media, Discord, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, now on Spotify as well. Come and catch up on all of the episodes, whether it's us or some of our amazing other chronicles that are also being run. Hashtag Petersburg By Night pretty much everywhere. Tonight is the culmination of a lot of work by a few individuals. They have come across and met some amazingly challenging moments over the last several months. And now, maybe they get to see the fruits of their labor. Maybe they get to let their hair down and relax a little bit. We'll see. So, the next morning, as William awakens, here's Jeff whistling something in the kitchen while he potters around and cooks his own breakfast, probably annoying the catering staff while he's in there. You get up, William, knowing that at some point in the next hour or two, your new friends, colleagues, will be arriving to help you sort of get the lay of the land and set up security for the evening so they know what's happening. You ponder on down. Jeff has a pot of coffee going. It's definitely two catering staff in the kitchen just glaring at him while he takes over one of the burners on the stove. He's cooking up some scrambled eggs and some bacon. Hey, you hungry?
Yes, quite, but they look like they want to murder you, Jeff.
Ah, they love me, right, guys? They look at me and go, sure. Mr. Barnett, will he be in here for long?
Um,
I'm almost finished with my
yes.
eggs. Don't worry about it. I'll be out of here in a minute. He sort of drags 2 plates off the catering pile, dumps the eggs and bacon on the 2 plates, throws the fry pan into the sink. Thanks, guys. Grabs the food, bumps you on the shoulder on his way out. Come on, let's go have breakfast. In the most university college mess hall chaos that you have invited into your home.
He's gonna look at the catering staff and go, usually he sets fire to something, so you guys got lucky. Turn around.
So he goes and finds a seat, hands you breakfast and coffee. As you sort of talk, wake up, about an hour later, Ella's very distinctive vehicle arrives with Ella and Emery as they turn up. And would you guys come up through the front door, or would you go around the side to the back?
Ella's only ever gone up through to the front door. She's never been in the house, but she knows where the front door is.
Same.
So you get a knock on the door.
I'm just gonna keep knocking until he answers.
Oh no, it's either. Considering the persistence of the knocking, it's probably the sisters.
Sisters? Jeff sort
Yeah,
of perks
friends
up
of
at that.
mine.
Sisters?
They're both lesbians.
Oh.
William goes over and opens the door.
Fine. Jeff just sort of goes back to eating.
Morning, darling.
Morning, Ella, Emery. How are you two doing?
Wonderful. I haven't had enough coffee yet.
You had 2!
I need another.
You see a guy in the background just go, we got some here.
Ooh, who's he? I like him.
He's probably about 5'5". He's got like a curly mop of hair. Sort of palish skin. Looks a little bit like Chandler. It's like, got some here.
Perfect. She's got her own cup. She heads for the coffee.
Don't hand her the pot, she'll drink the whole thing.
Not that uncivilized. No, that's you.
Excuse me, between the two of us, I am the more dressed up here.
You look like a security guard in an airport.
Excuse me? I am in my army blues, and you disgrace me like that?
I mean, I only said what was true.
She's gonna kill you.
Damn, William. As fun as this is to watch, I'm gonna go hand some string lights out the back. See if they need a hand. You enjoy your death. Bye, buddy. He just takes off down the hallway.
That one's insightful.
Yeah, he's my friend. Of course he's insightful. He has to be, to rip me apart.
You let someone rip you apart?
Yeah, it keeps the ego down.
You seem the type.
At about this time, so would Victor be coming in his own car today, or do you think Victor and Nick would come together? Victor come in his own car.
Anyways, if Nick need a ride, Victor would be well dressed.
Victor and Nick could be arriving at about a similar time. However they choose to arrive this morning, pretty much. You guys walk up to the front door. The door's open. William didn't close it. You
Not the kind of area.
see Ella and Emery very finely dressed, standing there talking to William. He's probably still in his pajamas.
He's in a comfy sweater.
Yes, a comfy sweater looking like Christmas in June.
Please tell me that's not what you're wearing tonight, William.
I thought it fit the theme.
Should I go find fucking sweatpants?
No,
Yeah.
this is
This was the best
this is
I
my-
can find.
this is my attempt at humor.
You failed miserably. Try again next week.
That's fair.
Mm.
So now that Emery is currently plotting my murder, let's discuss how tonight's going to go.
Good idea. Sips coffee.
So for those, sorry, I was going to say, for those of you who haven't been to William's house before, which I believe is most of you actually, you sort of have a look around. It's quite decadent. Definitely stinks of old money.
Ella like grimaces.
Now, William, where exactly are you going to ask your friends to be for the evening?
Because he knows Emery is probably the most intimidating figure out of all of us, and is going to make certain that things go properly, is going to place her out front effectively as the bouncer, keeping people... Well, not necessarily keeping people out per se, because it's not really the point of the event. Making certain that if anyone seems suspicious, they can keep an eye on them. William is placing Emery and Ella back within the crowds. Like within the... not Emery and Ella. Ella and Nick. William is placing Ella and Nick back... Like, he's effectively seating them at the tables with everyone else, like, mingling, talking, doing their whole thing. And what William's actually having Victor do is that Victor is going to be also mingling, but Victor's mingling in the sense of he's supposed to be weaving through and watching the crowd, watching the people in the crowd, being the composed watcher who is just sort of people watching there as a member of plainly dressed security staff. You know, it's pretty easy to pick him out, but he's there making certain that, you know, keeping an eye and an ear on things just to make certain that people feel safe.
So a more visual security presence for Victor sort of
Yes.
walking around patrolling the perimeters and that. Okay. Well, I'm going to ask the four of you that are going to be patrolling as security to give me either a Whitson investigation or a Whitson insight as you are walking around looking at the area, looking at the actual sort of the grounds, gaining an understanding of potential weak points or good places to sort of be. You all get two help dice with this, because that is the maximum I allow, and I'm going to assume that you're working together on this. You can choose investigation or insight based on your own personal specialties.
If I go insight, will my specialty count?
Of discerning lies? No.
Uh-huh.
Not in this
Okay.
situation. It's kind of hard for Bush to lie to you.
You cut out for me. You said we get 2 extra help die. Is that what I heard?
Yes, everybody gets the 2 additional help dice because you're all working together to sort of have a look at what you're going to be working with this evening.
I'll just go investigation then.
You okay there, Nats? Someone found a dog in the backyard. So, that's at least one thing we found. Neighbours' dogs got in.
The neighbors' dogs, they're so unruly.
Look over in the corner and Jeff's actually feeding them. Yeah. Okay, so what did everybody get for their rolls?
I got an 8 with a crit.
8 with a crit.
I got a 7 with crit.
I got a 4.
I got a 4, but I used insight.
That's fine. So, I'm assuming Emery used insight and...
Investigation is what I
I
used.
used investigation, yep. Alright. So I was going to say, insight's not your strong point. Alright, cool. So, Victor and Emery, you guys have done perimeter checks before many times. You are able to walk the grounds, you pick up on where the weak points are, you instruct the staff to maybe, make sure they keep an additional viewpoint on that, have a look around. You figure out the side gate's probably going to be the best place for an entrance for everybody because that's a nice funnel point. You also figure out the emergency exit areas. So if there's anything that happens, you've got a place at the front, place at the back, way to get people out. Bathroom facilities obviously are well placed to the side, actually through the exterior rear entrance of the house. Ella, did you use insight or investigation?
I used investigation.
Okay.
I used insight. Sorry,
You
I
used
didn't say.
insight. Okay, so for the sisters using their investigation probably together, you guys, again, you've managed to figure out where those points will be. You make sure that staff's going to cover it and you know the areas you've got to watch. For Victor and Nick, using insight. So, Victor, you have a good understanding of human behaviour in this kind of a crowd situation. You know which way people are going to walk, you know which way people are going to sort of mingle and flow. Between you and Nick, watching the staff, keeping an eye on everything, you notice that one of the catering staff members seems like this is a new job. They're learning. So you notice that this is probably the first event they've done. They don't seem to quite know where to go and what they're doing precisely. You look over, they're probably a girl of about 21, only young, with waist-length blonde hair. She's probably only about 4'3", 4'4", fairly slender build. And she does appear like she seems to trip over her feet a lot. She's not sure what to do. She gets told that she's doing everything wrong. She keeps, you can see that the supervisor, her boss, is just unimpressed with her. She's trying to be patient, but she's struggling. And one of the last things you hear from the boss is, hey, if you can't get this together, I'm going to ask you to not be here tonight because we need this job. This is going to help us, We need this job, the reputation and the publicity we're going to get from this. Come on. The young girl sort of gets, sorry, look, I promise I'll try better. I'll listen harder. I'm sorry. I need this job too. It's important. That's probably what you notice sort of standing out. So as you sort of spend the day, lunch is definitely provided, as is afternoon tea. And you guys get to enjoy watching Jeff absolutely, shamelessly embarrass William with stories from back in college. There's definitely a story, one funny story of how one of the hot girls from one of the sororities actually tried to hit on William at one point. I'm completely mistaken what she was doing. Thinking she was just going to get a smart boyfriend to help her pass a few classes, got absolutely nowhere. Tells you the story of how William absolutely tore her to shreds and maybe didn't make a lot of friends with certain individuals after that, Every now and then, he mentions Michael and Alice. And those who use insight for their role notice William's face shift a little bit whenever he does. Not a lot, but almost a little bit of a wistful look whenever Michael's mentioned. And Jeff rapidly changes the subject. So, as you... Yes? Can't hear you.
When Vic is looking at Jeff, telling the story, seems like a good friend or like more than a good friend for him, not for William.
Sorry, you're asking if Jeff is a good friend for William?
No, like if Jeff and Alice were good friends or more than that, basically.
With your insight roll of 8 with a crit, you're on fire today. They were just friends.
Okay.
You don't pick up any hint of romance. You don't pick up any hint of anything like that. You do, however, get the feeling that Jeff is not as silly as he appears, Victor. He's definitely using like a clown-like persona to deal with a few things, maybe. But with you spending the afternoon with all of this and then coming into the evening, you're all given a room to actually make sure that you are changed and presentable in. And for now, we are going to take a quick break before we step into the party. So when we come back, we'll see who arrives, what shoulders need to be rubbed, and see who we meet. So go get a drink, grab a snack, move your body a bit, and we'll see you back here in about 5 minutes for an interesting affair. Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your break. You moved your body, got a drink, got a snack. I know we all did. Got a few of those nervous wriggles out, which is awesome because tonight, now, we are going to step forward. It is now Friday evening. It's a lovely, slightly warm evening in Florida as summer is slowly starting to blossom. As we approach the Barnett family home, Emery on the front gate with the others walking around. There are amazingly glorious fairy lights just dangling from all the trees and bushes in the newly landscaped backyard. There are long white tables covered in glasses, champagne, hors d'oeuvres, just scattered throughout the garden as well. There are waitstaff dressed in neat, crisp black uniforms, carrying trays, again, of warm hors d'oeuvres, so as to not let them spoil in the slightly warm summer air. As guests slowly start to arrive in their glorious formal attire, people definitely took that dress code seriously. William, there are evening wear, lovely long gowns, crisp, clean suits of blues, blacks, there's a few more daring, risque colours floating through there as well, matching their partners and what they brought with them. And Emery, on the front gate, with your guest list, you see a familiar car and driver arrive, and you see Dr. Kruger exit the plain black sedan that her bodyguard usually drives her in. And as Dr. Kruger approaches you this evening, she spots you as someone that she may know.
Hello, Miss Gaines.
Hello, Dr. Kruger. No +1?
No, I didn't see anything like that on the invitation. It would be inappropriate to bring someone without an invitation. I believe that's correct.
Understood. Well, thank you. You may pass forward if you wish. I believe William is excited to talk with you.
I did not get that impression the last time we had met.
He's an emotional one.
There's a saying within the scientific community that that's one of the things you should leave behind when it comes to our line of work.
Good to know.
It muddies the results.
Understood.
But, this is very formal. You look, very nice in, is that a uniform?
Yes.
Okay. I believe, what military did you serve in again?
U.S. Army. I obtained the corporal rank. I appreciate it. Thank you. You look lovely as well.
I didn't pick it out, but yes, thank you. When I work, MIT does a lot of contracts with the military. I don't know how to do small talk. This is excruciating.
Perfectly fine. You may continue forward if you wish. It's lovely seeing you again.
It was very nice to see you as well. I'm going to go suffer through this.
As Cece enters, Emery, you see quite a few familiar faces coming through. Robert appears and walks in, giving you a pat on the shoulder, sort of saying hello and good to see you. Looking quite nice there, Miss Gaines. He doesn't stop to
Thank
check.
you. Mm-hmm.
You do see a name on the list that's slightly familiar. Miss Camille Justice.
Oh no. I forgot about her.
As she walks up, you see, dressed splendidly in a dark blue evening gown, just below the knee, low flats, her grey hair pinned up quite elegantly, beautiful sort of midnight blue sapphire earrings. Granny walks up and looks at you and goes, "Well, Emery, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Want to cross the name off there? Camille Justice, please."
Of course. And she'll cross it off.
She's going to sort of lean in and just be like, "I hope you're treating Alicia right. She's a good girl. She doesn't need to be led astray again. We understood?"
I do my best.
Good. Disappearing for a week is not conducive to a healthy relationship. You're aware of that, right?
Was not my intention. I was tied up for 6 days.
I'm not going to ask any more questions. That sounds interesting. I'm sure I'll find out later. Anyway, she's just going to pat you on the cheek. To be here. If you see William around, tell him that I need to talk to him. And she'll
Of
walk
course.
on. As Granny walks in, she looks around. And seemingly with purpose, walks past Miss Kruger, gives her a knowing nod, almost of recognition. And as she walks past Miss Kruger, it's, "Your employer dressed you well tonight. Good to see."
Well, yeah. He insisted.
As he should. It's okay. Give it an hour and then he can leave. And keeps walking, beelining for Ella. Miss Gaines. What a pleasure to see you.
Well, hey yourself. I've been meaning to come see you, but we just things got crazy.
I'm sure they did. Did you bring him with you? Or are you leaving him just floating around?
No, he's in a safe place.
Very well. So I'm kind of curious. What the hell are you doing with my nephew? Or my grandson?
I'm kind of trying to figure that out myself. He doesn't... And she's just looking around, making sure there's, like, no one listening in.
I'm sure he has a reason for being attracted to you, Miss Gaines.
Oh, I hope that's not it, because that would be really awkward.
We'll see, but I believe the query is what are your intentions?
I just want to help him. I don't know what his business is that he needs to do, but he just didn't move on.
Give me a wits and insight, please, Ella.
Okay.
As Granny turns and looks you dead in the eyes. What do you say?
Scary. Ooh, I'm using a willpower. That's much better. Okay. Went from 0 to 3.
3 successes. The look in Granny's eyes is not judgment. It is not anger. It is sheer curiosity.
I don't know if I like that.
Well, either way, it's definitely curious.
Yeah, I didn't want to just leave him, but I also didn't want to just outright, do, I don't know.
Of course.
It's confusing. This is a confusing situation.
Dealing with young boys often can be confusing. Walk with me a moment, won't you? And she'll loop her arm in yours and start to lead you towards the back of the garden, away from the majority of people.
Yeah, okay.
Nick, should you choose to notice and follow, I will allow you a wits and awareness roll to see if you notice this.
We will try it.
Okay.
Success.
How many, sorry?
1.
You probably wouldn't notice this happening. Granny moves with a bit of subtlety and grace that slightly belies her age. Like, it doesn't quite fit. And she sort of leads Ella towards the back of the garden to a small baby bench down the back. Just come sit with me for a moment. It's a bit more private down here.
Yeah, sure. And she'll sit down.
So your sister tells me that Connor's been visiting you for quite a while now.
Yeah, I honestly thought for a while that he had moved on, but then he showed back up again.
So the question is, were you holding his journal all this time?
I had his journal, yes.
On you?
For a while I was keeping it in my bag that I carry everywhere.
Did you happen to go through any traumatic moments over that period of time, Miss Gaines?
Yeah.
Where perhaps your emotive state may have been a cry for help?
Just Lana pops right in her head. Yeah.
There are moments in this world where, especially in an area like this where the veil is thin, that no rituals or magic or books or crystals or any sacrifice is needed to summon forth help.
Are you saying that I may have done this inadvertently?
Unwittingly, perhaps, yes.
Oh.
You can rest. I apologize for my direct speak. I'm sure you figured out that's not really my thing to beat around the bush.
Yeah, no. Honestly, I kind of like that about you. It doesn't leave me guessing.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, and I'm really not a fan of these sort of things, but William asked me, for some ungodly reason, asked Robert, and Dustin all at once. Ugh. Weird boy he is.
You know Robert?
Saw him at tea the other day.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
has been the first time I've seen you. I was hoping you'd come visit earlier. But I'm going to assume, considering William's conversation, that you've been busy with the same nonsense he has been.
A lot of nonsense and then some personal nonsense. It's been a lot of nonsense.
I do have a query. Your new friend, it's got the wavy hair and likes to wear the dresses and stuff, the kilts, those things.
Oh, Nick?
Yes. What's his deal? He came pondering into my shop with the others when you weren't there, actually, a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I heard they went without me. I was kind of mad about that. He's good at what he does. He's been a good addition to the group. He's kind of the voice of reason sometimes.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, the rest of us can kind of get pretty hot-headed.
Having watched
Nick...
the way you dealt with the sigils in my store, I'm not surprised in the slightest.
I did think you would be.
Yes.
I don't know, Nick just has this kind of presence about him that makes us stop and think when we need to.
Interesting. Just saying though, Miss Gaines. Sometimes someone who makes you stop and think may be misleading you about the reasons that they do so.
She kind of thinks...
How much do you know about this friend of yours?
I know his name is Nicholas Flynn and he's from Virginia. I know he's got a couple of friends in town.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know much other than that.
Do you know who he was once associated with?
I don't think ST, I don't think Ella has any idea, right?
Nope. He never told you, to my knowledge.
No. Is that a question I should ask him?
Well, and she's going to, just before she stands up, she's going to sit her hand on your thigh and just give it a pat. Perhaps it would be worth having a bit more of a conversation before his past comes to visit. Seems to follow him. Anyway, have a wonderful evening, Miss Gaines. I do need to ponder through a bit more and maybe say hi to a few more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Say
Lots
hi.
of people's pasts coming back to bite them. It's great.
Yes, I'm sure it is. Say hi to Connor for me, won't you? I do miss him.
I will.
And she'll
Oh,
stand
I
up
will.
and walk off into the crowd, leaving Ella with a little bit of a thought to ponder.
Yeah, she's gonna sit there for a minute or two and then... Oh, fuck, I'm here to do a job. And go back and do what she's supposed to do.
It's at about this time that William, he's standing there having a conversation with Councillor George, who has his secretary Helen on his arm, who is eyeing you with not a small amount of concern and fear and trepidation, considering the last interaction you had with her. She's very quiet. She's not said much. Councillor George is regaling you with some boring conversation about how he organised a new waste cleanup. But he has offered to pledge quite a bit of money towards a fundraiser for the library.
It's a lovely time to listen to such things for just a little bit of money.
As Dr. Kruger's blonde hair comes into your periphery,
Councilman George, this is
Yes?
Dr. This is Dr. Kruger, a colleague of mine. If you would excuse me.
Oh, of course, of course. I might go check out those mini beef Wellingtons. They absolutely look adorable. Tastier, not quite big enough for me, but I'll good job.
Have
He
as
sort of
many as you
pauses.
like.
He sort of grabs Helen, patting her hand. She's definitely not overtly happy to be there, but it's anything to walk away from you right now.
He makes eye contact with Helen and does the thing.
She scurries off. And you turn to face Dr. Kruger.
Ah, Dr. Kruger, enjoying the festivities tonight, are we?
No, actually, it reminds me of my days back at MIT, where we had to literally simper to the elite to just get funding for the programs. They should
Well-
just want to contribute to the betterment of society. Instead, we have to pander to them.
You know, that is something we can agree on, I believe. However, it is a necessary evil.
Unfortunately. But I was told by Miss Gaines that you had questions for me. I figured it would be better to get them out of the way so I can spend less time in social settings.
Oh, yes, come, sit. Right this way. And he's going to lead her over to one of the tables. Have them brought over a glass of wine so that way they can have a nice conversation. It'll be noticeable that he doesn't actually drink any of the wine himself. He pours himself a glass, but he just sets it there. And he does not drink any of it at this moment in time.
Neither does Cece.
So, Miss Cece, Dr.
Dr.
Cecilia
Kruger.
Kruger. Dr. Cecilia Kruger. So, Dr. Cecilia Kruger, I have a few questions for you regarding your... Do you remember the first mission you sent us on?
Yes, I sent you to investigate why those limbs were showing up.
Yes. Well, no. That was one of the missions you gave to us, but the first mission you gave to us was the mission to investigate Granny's shop.
That's right. I had forgotten.
Well, Dr. Kruger, there seemed to be a bit of security footage that we found around that time, showing a distinctly dressed, blonde-headed figure fleeing the shop at a high rate of speed with something in their arms.
You can get to the point. I'd rather not spend as I don't like these settings. You could just be direct with me, Mr. Barnett.
Which is why you're here. Why were you there, Dr. Kruger? Answer the question, and you may leave.
I was doing a job.
For whom?
Sable.
And the Sable Enterprises. Why do they seem to have threads in every single organization I seem to be putting my hands in? The local Arcanum, Robert, Dustin, everyone that I've spoken to seems to be on their payroll to some extent or another.
I'm not aware of any of that. They're part of Monster X. As far as I'm concerned, and I'm aware.
I'm gonna insight check that.
Go for it. I will get a manipulation subterfuge.
Where is the dice?
You can use physical dice if you have them. We here on What the Hell Is That? We either use the magnificent dice roller that our magical, wonderful tech wizard Kyrie has created for St. Petersburg itself, or we also encourage the use of the dice, especially considering our amazing sponsors, Wolfpack Dice and Ember Fox.
Cole, can I add desperation to this?
100%, and considering the circumstances, you have 3.
Can I also add desperation to this?
Yes, but you're only at 2. What is your roll, William?
6 successes.
What is your roll, Cece?
5.
There is something about what she is saying between the connection of Sable, Biotech, Monster X. Something isn't sitting right. The connections aren't what she is saying that they are, and you definitely get the feeling that she knows more than what she is letting on. But with only 1 success higher, you don't get a full reading on what that is.
Are you satisfied, Mr. Barnett?
Are one of our ilk ever satisfied, Dr. Kruger?
No.
Then you already have your answer. But I think I'm starting to find mine.
And what's that, Dr. Barnett?
I don't like such a large, shadowy organization controlling so many people. Controlling so many of us who just want to make the world a better place, or at least that's what they tell all of us. I'll be quite honest, Dr. Kruger. You've frayed my trust. You've sent us on missions seemingly to get us killed, multiples of them. Saying that you don't want to get your own hands dirty, and yet I have evidence to the contrary that you were going on your own missions on your own yourself. You've already contradicted yourself, and now you're saying that Sable Enterprises is just an offshoot of Monster X, when it seems as if they're not solely an offshoot of Monster X, and in fact they seem to be the local Monster X seems to be a subsidiary of them as well, based on my earlier research that I did. Your stories don't add up, Dr. Kruger, and I will get to the bottom of why they don't. Leave my home, now, and never return.
You're very emotional, Mr. Barnett. You realize that?
My emotions are what make me human, Dr. Kruger. Something that it seems you've abandoned.
That's all right. I understand now why you were never going to make it in Milan. And she'll turn and walk away. Oh, and Cole.
Yes?
As I'm leaving, I don't appreciate the tone he took with me, so I would be pulling my glasses off and giving them a nice little rub as I activate my artifact to attract the supernatural to this location.
Thank you for that information.
You're welcome.
As Cece leaves, after quite a heated argument, Nick, that is something that you would have seen.
Mm-hmm.
And your ability to notice it is only prompted by the fact that Granny walks up behind you and just gives you a bit of a nudge and goes, "What do you reckon? love a squirrel over there?
Absolutely not.
You sure?
William is too much of a homosexual for that. It's good to see you.
Oh. Oh. That makes more sense, I suppose.
I also don't think Dr. Kruger has any interest in anything remotely involving emotion, so I think tit for tat, they're opposites that should never attract.
Fair enough. Personally, I've never seen the fact that emotions need to be a part of tit or tat, to be honest. If it's a good time, that's all that matters, right?
I don't think Dr. Kruger knows how to have a good time if her life depended on it, is what I'm getting at.
Ah, yes. Sometimes a good time can be seen in a different way. Like, take your friend over there, Mr. Hollow. Walking around, watching, paying attention to everybody. So observant. One wonders if that isn't how he gets his enjoyment, to be honest. Never known someone quite so broody.
I don't think I have either. That's saying something.
Well, I am curious.
Yeah.
What is it that brought you here? And she turns and just sort of crosses her arms slightly and just stares straight at you. It's a sort of stare from a little old lady that feels like it's almost boring into your soul.
Legitimately, I wanted to take a vacation. And then stuff happened, so I decided to stay. But I'm starting to think some strings were being pulled from the shadows.
What makes you think that?
Where exactly are we at in the backyard?
She's standing in the middle. Like, she's openly talking to you in front of just
Mhm.
in a mingling. Like, she's leaning in close enough that it's still a semi-private conversation, but it's not hidden.
Nick has no reason not to trust Granny, so if Granny will let him, he will go to the back patio area with the garden. Because he has no reason not to trust her at this point. And knowing what he knows from Emery now, it's like she's probably got a good read on things in the area because Nick is, I don't want to use the word paranoid, that's not the right word, but he being the esoteric archetype takes his card readings very seriously when they happen. So he is like gonna want to say some things that I don't think should be said in the proximity of non-aware individuals.
So, as they walk down to the back of the garden and sit down on the self-same bench that she sat on with Ella, I am going to ask the other cell members to all make me a wits and awareness roll, please, and hold on to that number. Emery, as you watch Dr. Kruger walk out the door, walk out the gate, rubbing her glasses and cleaning them, I'm going to give you an additional 2 dice to your roll. From your time spent around the occult and the supernatural growing up and now in this moment. I also want to ask Emery, do you still have that coin in your wallet?
I do.
Okay. Hold on to those numbers for me. Nick, as you sit down with Granny, you are going to make me a wits and occult roll, please.
Oh, talking mushrooms. That's a good pull for Elmo. Does my specialty apply?
Druidry?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
As she sits down next to you, or sits down, pats the bench next to her, I should say, goes, come and talk with a little old lady.
What desperation am I at? Because I feel like I might be able to use desperate. Well, no, he wouldn't, because he's not in direct conflict at this point, so he would not be getting any desperation.
Nope.
That was trash. I'm going to spend a willpower.
Okay.
Four on a crit.
4 on a crit. Do you sit down next to Granny?
No, he's not.
Okay.
He's going to politely decline. And I feel like, would it be fair to say at this point, Nick is getting the ick?
Nick would start to feel almost a cool flicker around him, like water, where when he extends his senses, it feels like a warm breeze or an evening breeze, sometimes with the flicker of feathers in the background. This is slightly similar, but it feels like cool blue water caressing your legs. A cool sort of almost trickle down the back of your neck. As she looks up at you.
Water?
Yeah, water.
Okay.
She almost looks up at you and she says, you are interesting, aren't you?
Yes, but so he can have... Because he has no clue what just popped off. He knows... I'm assuming he knows something popped off, doesn't know what exactly it is. He is going to politely decline the seat next to Granny, because I'm imagining if this is like a back garden, the bench would be... Well, let me ask you this, storyteller, for some set dressing. Would he have a better angle sitting beside Granny, looking at an angle towards the rest of the party, or would he be better off standing?
He would be
Okay,
better
never
off
mind, then he
sitting
would.
to be able to see the rest of the party, yes.
Okay, then he actually... That would not have happened. He would have realized that and sat down. Yeah.
You still get that feeling of the water around your ankles. It's almost... It feels that cool, blue, refreshing feeling, almost cold water dripping down the back of your neck. As she just still looks up at you because she's quite short, because you are an interesting individual, aren't you? What
interesting is a word.
Are you, Mr. Flynn?
I'm a mortal?
What have you been touched by, Mr. Flynn?
That I have no clue.
Let's not mince words. You do not read as human.
I am been told that a time or two. But I haven't figured out exactly what did it.
She literally runs a finger down your arm and goes, I can't figure it out either.
I would like to know, not gonna lie.
Well, I have a question for you. Everyone here seems to know each other. You came here on holiday and just happened to follow them.
Yeah.
You are an anomaly. I cannot find you within any of my normal ways of locating a person. I cannot...
Nick looks confused. And he's just gonna outright ask, do you mean with any of the organizations?
No. I mean within the location that you're in, using this. You almost have connections to everybody. See, in this world, I'm sure you understand, there is almost strings, call them fate, that connect so many people in this world. And amongst your group, there are many strings. But you've come in and almost tied a knot in the middle, and I can't figure out why or how. But it's slightly concerning to me.
What's concerning to me too, considering that is perplexing.
Give me a really quick wits and awareness, please, as you're talking. And I'll get everyone else's wits and awareness rolls, please, who are paying attention to the party.
By the way, Cole, I did my bad. It wasn't my glasses that was my artifact. It was the scalpel,
I'm aware. It's all good.
the World War II scalpel. So I would have been
Polishing.
fiddling with it in my purse, polishing it. Yeah.
2.
2 for you, 4 for William. Emery, what was your roll that actually?
6 with a crit.
6 with a crit. Victor, 5. And sorry, Ella.
4, and I had to spend a willpower.
Okay. Nick, you don't hear what spooks her. But Granny goes, oh. It must be a shiver of the cool breeze. I'm gonna go and get a jacket. I'll talk. It's almost like something has startled her. She goes, starts looking over her shoulder slightly. I'm gonna be honest, I think I'm getting a bit old. This is a bit cool for me. I'm gonna keep moving, Mr. Flynn. Do enjoy your evening, won't you?
Of course.
Emery and Victor, it's at about this time of the evening with your rolls. You hear, so Emery, a car pulls in out the front late. And Victor, you hear a helicopter in the distance.
I'm gonna use the comm link. I'm gonna say, looks like we've got some uninvited guests, guys.
As 2 burly, black-suited individuals looking for all the world like agents get out of the vehicle.
Do you hear an helicopter too?
As it's brought to your attention, you can hear it in the distance. Yes.
Yes, and we've got 2 black suits.
Oh, that sounds like feds.
William, have you left the chair that you ordered Miss Kruger to leave from?
Quite possibly not. At this point, he is drinking the glass of wine that he had poured out in front of him. Now that the engagement has ended.
As everybody is noticing this, as the suits enter or start to enter towards the gate, you see all of you, probably about 7 or 8 guests, one of them including Robert, start to make their way almost as if it's time to leave. Robert walks past, he's like, see you soon. William, I'll see you at work tomorrow, or perhaps looking at that drink, you'll have a bit of a sore head. But I do need to be off, considering something's... Granny said, Camille said something about wanting to have a conversation. So, I think I'll need to go and have a chat with her.
Remind me, I need to ask you about what your relationship with her really is, considering you seem to be denying any relationship, and yet she seems to have you wrapped around her finger. But go on ahead. Go.
One day, William, you will learn that things are not what they seem.
Oh, I'm quite aware.
Your friend, Jeff, have you seen him? He seems to have disappeared as well, by the way. Go and have a look. And he walks off. As the helicopter comes over the top, it is actually a news helicopter. And it appears to be filming the gathering. Victor, what?
Guys, why press is here.
Why the fuck are they in a helicopter?
As
Nick is
Wait.
gonna
sorry, go ahead, Nick.
kind of very quickly under his breath and I swear to God, somebody did something.
Did what?
I have no clue, but it felt like me when I do the thing. Ella.
As soon as he says that, Ella's gonna throw up sense.
Make me your edge
Nick is
test.
popping thwart at.
Yep, make me your edge test, please. Those who are activating something.
Where is it?
Composure and occult, right?
Yes.
Difficulty 4.
Yes. Victor.
Victor is going to make his way to his briefcase we has put in the gathering, but
Yeah.
not on him at this moment.
Yep.
We have a problem, yes. Be ready, guys.
Emily, what are you doing with this knowledge and information? They are. Nice. Emery, what are you doing?
I'm going to try and counter the agents.
Okay. They walk up to you in the evening.
Good evening. How may I help you?
We were just hoping to speak to the resident of the premises.
Oh, interesting. Could I have your name so I can see if you're on the list?
I don't think we're on the list.
Well, then I can't permit you. Do you have a warrant?
Do we need one? I thought
If
that
you're
was
not on the list, then yes.
I thought that was for law enforcement.
It's the only other way you're getting in here.
Right. We can wait.
Okay.
And they walk back to their vehicle and just sit up and look at the sky. What was your role there, Ella?
I had to spend another willpower because I'm eating it like candy. And it was 3.
3 successes. It's almost like the panic doesn't quite. You just can't seem to dig in. Something isn't working. You haven't spent enough time. It's just not quite there. Nick, what was your role for thwart?
7 with the crit, and I also am popping willpower like it's candy tonight.
Keep in
Hey.
touch with what you've got, guys.
Yep.
As William, the helicopter does come over the top of your residence, seemingly taking video footage. And Dustin walks over to you and goes, "Did you plan this? Is this a publicity stunt that you started?"
Dustin, do you really think, as he's taking out his earpiece from his pocket, Dustin, do you really think that I would plan some sort of publicity stunt like this?
Yes, to be honest, I do. As
Look.
you see, everybody's starting to get quite disturbed by the helicopter, and guests are starting to leave in droves.
There's no way I could hack into the footage for the camera, is there, from anything that I have here. So
What is this? You did not
This-
authorize this level of press clearance with me.
because this is news to me. I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna go check with Emery and the rest. It seems like there's something going on here. I blame Dr. Kruger.
What on earth could she have done?
I don't know, but I'll find out, won't I?
Apparently. Look, I'll come with you. In case we need to deal with anything, I will sort out the legalities. I'll head out the front, see if there's any law enforcement or anything that needs to be dealt with. We are going to have a very serious conversation after this, William, because I'm not going to be able to represent you if this is going to be a thing.
This was not my plan.
Very
I
well.
promise you.
You all see, and Emery Dustin comes out of the party, up towards you, stands next to you. You do notice him look up, see the figures, and almost go white. And then step back behind you.
You know these guys?
I know that type.
They don't have a warrant. They said that they're willing to wait. For what?
I don't know. Quickly, Victor.
Can I ascertain from a window from the
So you're
next
heading,
floor?
Are you heading inside?
Like in the house, but
Yes.
to see more of the helicopter side, to see which channel it is, who is actually
Within an awareness, please.
doing. Thank you.
But you are going to be spending your time traveling up there to that area, so you won't be able to do anything else for a minute. Okay?
What in the hell is this?
3 successes.
3. You do not get a clear image, but you've seen the Tampa Bay Times symbol enough that you think that's probably it.
Let me know if you have actually invited Tampa Bay Times.
So as that comes through, where is everybody? Are you heading to the front? What are you doing for the rest of you? As Dustin is hiding behind Emery, Nick was left at the back of the garden. William was left towards the front, closer to the house. And Ella was still patrolling. What are you guys doing? You heading to the front?
So, using my... One moment, let me check and make certain I have this.
Because your garden is rapidly emptying, William. People are mumbling and whispering that this is not what they expected.
Using my Letter of the Law Global Access perk, and seeing that this is a blatant violation of personal property laws by the Tampa Bay Times, how high would the difficulty be to get them to send a cease and desist immediately, based on this?
That's going to be something that, rather than using global access letter of law, that's a phone call to the police. That's a phone call to air traffic control. Because for you to hack into a system is going to require you to go inside and use a network, and it may take half an hour to an hour. It's not a rapid let it rumble, like it's not just going to happen immediately. A phone call is going to be better off.
Then he's gonna do a phone call to the local police department into air traffic control ASAP.
Okay, I'm going to get you to give me a manipulation persuasion or charisma persuasion, please. For that role, your choice. Just let me know the details as you ring up and almost... how would he do it? Would he be yelling? Would he be screaming? Would he be Karening? Or would he be very clear-cut, concise, and scientific about this?
I believe personal property laws restrict, and air traffic laws restrict air helicopters in this area from operating under such low conditions, as well as from recording footage of a public member's estate on this local area from... he's being academic about it, more so.
From an actual legal, a legal viewpoint. Okay, so what are you getting for your role? What are we at? Because as the garden empties to the point where it's only the staff remaining, and the rest of you, and Dustin,
That is 5 successes on a crit.
upon making that phone call, you hear, of course, sir, apologies, we'll put through that, and you do see within less than 2 to 3 minutes of you making that phone call, the helicopter moves out of airspace and moves away. But the evening is already ruined. Everybody's gone. The catering staff are left there with over half of the food and everything there. And it's just you and your friends left with Dustin hiding behind Emery still.
Nick would walk over to look to see what's going on at the gate. I think is what Nick would have ended up doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you see Dustin behind Emery. So Dustin's this like 5'8" dude, sort of a little bit portly,
Yeah.
slightly balding, sort of more of a very much
Lawyer.
a stuffy lawyer look, yeah.
Yeah,
And he's like,
I gotcha.
I'm not sure it's safe to leave at this point in time. Sort of peering around
Could-
Emery.
Could Nick insight the reaction that a lawyer would have
Of course. And then Ella, what were you saying?
to like?
Ella was making her way to the front too, just to see what
Yep.
was going on. Do we know the deal? What do they want?
No idea. No idea.
Invite them in.
Absolutely not.
Invite them in.
If you want to get arrested, William, that's on you then.
If they don't have a warrant, that means they're not law enforcement.
If you let them in, they don't need a warrant.
They're not law enforcement.
Hey, William. I don't think you might have heard this. He has walked back away so the two men in black looking motherfuckers can't hear him. He's like acting like he's walking the other way, pulls out his phone, acting like he's talking on his phone. Hey, somebody did something. I don't think you want to invite these people in. And I
I'm being-
suggest...
Ella's just gonna go. I felt it too. I couldn't tell what it was, but I felt it.
I am being a bad host. Now listen to me and invite them in. Now!
You know what? Fuck you. If you get arrested, I don't give a flying fuck. Come on in, gentlemen. The host wants to talk to you.
They both sort of look at you. One of them looks down at their phone. Apparently, we've been told we need to leave. We'll be back.
Can I get their license plate numbers?
100% you've got their plate numbers easily done. As they get in their vehicle and drive off. Seemingly, when the helicopter was called, they seem to have been recalled at the same time. As they peel off, you notice one last vehicle. Seems to be the last one to leave. Which Emery recognizes as Dr. Kruger's. As she leaves and drives away, the 5 of you are left with essentially an empty house. And a lot of questions. That's where we're actually going to leave and end season 2, folks. Season 1. Come back in a couple of weeks, because there are a lot of questions left unanswered right now. There are a lot of threads left unraveled. So many questions for doctors, lawyers, research authorities. Why are they really in Sarasota? We'll find out. Again, as always, go catch up Spotify, YouTube, VOD, here on Twitch. We are everywhere. You never know. Keep your eyes on the ground, folks. See you for season 2. Bye!